Imagine if the secret to inner peace, boundless joy, and a life of profound purpose was hidden in plain sight, embedded in the very fabric of existence, waiting for you to uncover it. What if the struggles, the pain, and the seemingly random events of your life were not mere accidents, but precise reflections of an ancient, unbreakable law that governs everything? This law, the fundamental principle of spiritual law, is more than a mystical concept. It's the key to unlocking the life you've always desired, one of harmony with the universe itself. Welcome to a journey that transcends the physical, a path that leads to the core of your being, where the invisible yet potent forces of spiritual law shape the reality you experience every day. Spiritual law is not a theory. It is the foundation upon which the universe is built, a series of principles that govern the flow of energy, the creation of life, and the essence of our souls. These laws, when understood and embraced, offer the blueprint for living a life that is not only aligned with our highest potential, but also deeply connected to the universe's grand design. Understanding spiritual law. To grasp the fundamental principle of spiritual law, we must first understand what spiritual law is. Unlike the laws of physics or biology, which govern the physical world, spiritual laws operate on a higher plane, influencing our thoughts, emotions, and experiences. These laws are universal truths that apply to every aspect of life, from our relationships to our career to our personal growth. They are the unseen forces that guide us, whether we are aware of them or not, and they are as unchanging as the stars in the sky. At the heart of spiritual law is the concept of divine order, the belief that the universe is governed by a perfect and harmonious order, where everything happens for a reason, even if that reason is not immediately apparent to us. This divine order is not random. It is a carefully orchestrated symphony, where every note plays its part in the grand design. Understanding this concept is the first step towards mastering the principles of spiritual law, and by extension, mastering your life. The principle of cause and effect. One of the most important spiritual laws is the principle of cause and effect. This law states that every action has a corresponding reaction, and that the energy we put out into the world, whether positive or negative, will return to us in kind. This is not just a moral lesson, it is a fundamental truth of the universe. Our thoughts, words, and actions are like seeds that we plant in the garden of our lives. Whatever we sow, we will eventually reap. This principle is often referred to as karma in many spiritual traditions, but its essence is universal. When we understand this law, we realize that we are not victims of fate or circumstance. We are the architects of our destiny. By choosing our actions carefully, by aligning them with love, compassion, and kindness, we can create a life filled with joy, peace, and abundance. The law of attraction. Closely related to the principle of cause and effect is the law of attraction. This law states that like attracts like, that the energy we radiate out into the world will attract similar energy back to us. If we focus on positive thoughts and emotions, we will attract positive experiences and people into our lives. Conversely, if we dwell on negative thoughts and emotions, we will attract negativity. The law of attraction is not about wishful thinking or simply hoping for the best. It is about understanding the power of our thoughts and emotions and using them to consciously create the reality we desire. This law teaches us that we are co-creators with the universe, that our thoughts and feelings are powerful tools that can shape our lives in profound ways. The power of mindfulness. Mindfulness is a crucial practice in aligning ourselves with spiritual law. It is the art of being fully present in the moment, of observing our thoughts and emotions without judgment, and of consciously choosing how we respond to the world around us. When we practice mindfulness, we become more aware of the energy we are putting out into the world, and we can begin to consciously align that energy with the positive vibrations of love, peace, and compassion. Mindfulness also helps us to detach from the ego, the part of us that is constantly seeking validation and approval from the outside world. The ego is driven by fear and insecurity, and it is often the source of our suffering. By practicing mindfulness, we can learn to quiet the ego and connect with our higher self, the part of us that is connected to the divine and is always at peace. The principle of non-attachment. Another key spiritual law is the principle of non-attachment. This law teaches us that in order to experience true peace and happiness, we must learn to let go of our attachment to material possessions, outcomes, and even relationships. Non-attachment does not mean that we should renounce all worldly things or that we should not care about anything. Rather, it means that we should not allow our happiness and sense of self-worth to be dependent on external factors. When we practice non-attachment, we free ourselves from the constant cycle of desire and disappointment. We learn to find contentment within ourselves, regardless of our circumstances. This does not mean that we stop striving for success or that we do not care about the people in our lives. It simply means that we do not allow our happiness to be contingent on things that are ultimately out of our control. The law of unity. The law of unity is one of the most profound spiritual laws. It states that all life is interconnected, that we are all part of the same universal consciousness. This law teaches us that what we do to others, we do to ourselves, and that the well-being of all living beings is inextricably linked. When we understand the law of unity, we begin to see the world in a new light. We realize that we are not separate from the world around us, but rather we are deeply connected to it. This understanding fosters a sense of compassion and empathy for all living beings, and it inspires us to act in ways that contribute to the well-being of others. The power of love. Love is the most powerful force in the universe, and it is the foundation of all spiritual law. The law of love teaches us that love is not just an emotion, it is a state of being, a way of living that permeates every aspect of our lives. When we live in alignment with the law of love, we radiate a powerful energy that attracts love, joy, and abundance into our lives. The law of love also teaches us that love is not something we must seek outside of ourselves. It is something that we must cultivate within. By practicing self-love, compassion, and forgiveness, we can heal our own wounds and, in turn, radiate love to others. This love creates a ripple effect that spreads throughout the universe, touching the lives of everyone we encounter. The principle of abundance. The principle of abundance is a spiritual law that teaches us that the universe is infinitely abundant and that there is more than enough for everyone. This law challenges the scarcity mindset that so many of us have been conditioned to believe, the idea that there is not enough money, love, or success to go around. When we align ourselves with the principle of abundance, we shift our focus from lack to gratitude. We begin to see the abundance that already exists in our lives, and we attract even more abundance into our experience. This law teaches us that we do not need to compete with others for limited resources. Rather, we can create abundance for ourselves and for others by aligning our thoughts, beliefs, and actions with the energy of abundance. The principle of detachment. Detachment is a key concept in many spiritual traditions, and it is closely related to the principle of non-attachment. However, while non-attachment refers to letting go of our attachment to material things and outcomes, detachment refers to letting go of our need to control and manipulate our experiences. The principle of detachment teaches us to trust in the flow of life, to have faith that everything is unfolding as it should, even if it does not appear that way on the surface. When we practice detachment, we release our need to force outcomes or to cling to specific desires. Instead, we allow ourselves to be guided by the wisdom of the universe, trusting that we will be led to the experiences that are in our highest good. The law of forgiveness. Forgiveness is a powerful spiritual practice, and it is an essential component of spiritual law. The law of forgiveness teaches us that holding on to anger, resentment, and grudges only harms us, not the person we are angry with. When we forgive, we free ourselves from the burden of negative emotions and open our hearts to love and compassion. Forgiveness does not mean condoning or excusing harmful behavior. It means letting go of the emotional baggage that weighs us down. It is an act of self-love, a way of freeing ourselves from the past and allowing ourselves to move forward with peace and clarity. The law of forgiveness also teaches us to forgive ourselves, to let go of guilt and shame, and to recognize that we are all doing the best we can with the knowledge and awareness we have at any given time. The power of intention. Intention is a powerful force in the universe, and it is a key component of spiritual law. The power of intention teaches us that our thoughts and desires have the power to shape our reality, that what we focus on expands, and that by setting clear, positive intentions, we can manifest the life we desire. Intention is not the same as wishful thinking. It is a deliberate and conscious choice to focus our energy on what we want to create in